Hi, yogis. Hi, friends. Welcome back to our practice. Feels like a special day today, lots of different reasons. First, we have Miss Jill White Lindsay joining us. Many of you know Jill. Jill and I have been friends and colleagues for years. And this week, when I thought everything was kind of coming to a calmness, things starting to come up again, with not being able to gather for Thanksgiving, with election things. So I thought, what better way to calm myself than surround myself with things that I love? Inviting Jill into practice today and teaching a class on Thanksgiving. So most of you have gotten that message already, but I'm gonna say it now, 9 o'clock California time, 9 to 10:30, we're gonna do a Thanksgiving class. Many of you have come to the live class over the last few years where literally 100 people show up. So let's see if we can bring this together virtually, keep this flame alive, and make our way through the next few weeks and months with our yoga practice as our stability point. So here we are. Find your place, find your purpose, find your connection, that grounding, that stability, our safety, right? Yeah. Find your sit bones. Maybe rock forward slightly of those sit bones. Feel how it tilts your pelvis interiorly. Maybe by now you can feel how the spine starts to respond. When our pelvis is slightly tilted forward, the spine can find its natural curves. How about consciously releasing the legs to the earth? Softening the hips, maybe feeling the energy move from your hips down your thighs, out your knees towards the floor. With this beautiful triangle of support, we grow tall. Bring your awareness bottom of the rib cage, binding in the front of the low ribs and maybe back a bit. Chest comes tall from the secure segment around those low ribs, so what opens is upper back. Take your hands back behind you, yogis. Lead back with those fingers. Maybe bring on some tingling, some warmth. Start to wiggle the fingers. Feel the digits, the phalanges, as you start to lubricate the joints. Spread the fingers real wide and turn the thumbs backwards. Thumbs go all the way back. We externally rotate our shoulders. Let's find the opposite of internal rotation, just from the shoulders, not letting the chest cave in. Turn the palms backwards. That's internal rotation. Let's go back to external. Take them all the way back. And let the elbows release down towards the hips. They won't touch, but the idea is the energy descending. Palms can be up or down, your choice. Slide the elbows back, broaden the collarbones, feel the chest open. Feel how your head slides back into its bobble-headed place. Back again, back in our alignment and in our sense of attachment, grounding, lifting. Take a moment here. Do that internal architectural tour. Listen to what's being fed back from the periphery to your brain. All kinds of cool information, temperature, alignment, discomforts. Not necessarily looking to change anything, more just observational. Where are we starting this practice today? Always different. How about the mind? Already been through a little bit of that. So grateful for our practice. Take us out of that constant barrage of information and overload. We as yogis know how to find our breath and slowly release into our practice. The mind goes to the breath and everything else starts to erase. I'll ask you to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth, through your pursed lips. Remember, inhaling through the nose warms, hydrates, purifies the air. It's the most yummy way to take the air in. We breathe in all the sweetness, all the goodness, all the calmness, and you breathe out all the exhaust, all the debris. When you breathe out through the pursed lips, like the wind, you can hear it as all that stuff leaves your system. Let's sit today with our conscious breath, that yogic breath, adding volumes at the beginning and the end, the inhalation and the exhalations, to fill our lungs to their capacity. See if you might be able to lengthen your exhalations as your breaths go on. So maybe today, find what your inhale is and add 1 or 2 to the exhale. And each time, trying to add to the inhale and to the exhale, see what your capacity might be. Let's sit for a minute. Envision all of us around the world practicing, apart and yet together, more together than ever in our virtual worlds, keeping each other in mind. Let's go to the breath. Before you open your eyes, take your thumbs, cross them like bird wings, place them lightly over the center of the chest, the heart chakra. Pausing for a moment here in gratitude to our practice and our virtual community. Keeping our like-mindedness together. Feel your heartbeat inside your chest and maybe the warmth in the outside. Stop for a moment here and feel your humanness. Blink your eyes open, look at the front of the mat, and bring the gaze back up. You can't help it, your hands float up like helium balloons, right up to the sky they go. Through the ceiling and the roof, out to the clouds, out into infinity and beyond. Meanwhile, the roots go deeper down into the earth. We're held and stable and still rising. Out the fingertips, out the crown of the head. Feel the release, getting rid of the things we no longer need. Pull those low ribs in, engage that Uddiyana Bandha. Look up at your hands, take your thumbs back behind you, open your upper back, get rid of some of the excessive roundedness. Get your ears back between your elbows, touch your hands together, interlace your fingers, you've got steeple hands. So a little more laser sharp precision out the index fingers up to the sky. the warmth through the system, starting to change the viscosity of our fluids, lubricating the joints, finding space between our fascial sheets. Inhale. On the exhale, press your hands together, lower them down through main central, stopping at the third eye. Tip of the nose, lips, throat, and under your big hearts. Pause here. Thumbs pressed to the heart rises, and let the elbows release. See if you can feel that Apanavayu, downward winds, and the rising winds. Take your hands forward, press your hands together. Bring your shoulder blades forward, protract them. Retract the blades all the way back, put them to neutral, and bring the hands close in. Turn the thumbs up. Turn the fingers down. See if you can find that movement. Thumbs to the solar plexus, out they go. Protract the blades, retract the blades, release them to neutral, hands back to the heart. Spin them to the earth, right hand will hold, left ear will soften, left shoulder. Our right hand is the anchor. We hold down one side of the muscle as it attaches to the bone, and then the weight of your head and gravity will soften that upper trapezius muscle and create a beautiful side bend in your neck, your cervical spine. Inhale the head back up, and exhale opposite. Left hand holds, you can feel the anchor, and from that release. Inhale the head back up, and on the exhale, left hand turn, we do a little bit of a nodding motion, clearing out some of the debris. Working your way around to your stop point. Chin comes to rest, and see if you can find a little more rotation. Inhale back through center. Exhale to the right, little nodding motion. Come to the end of your range. Pause with the nod and take it around, maybe a little farther. Right back through center we go. Inhale and exhale around to the left, a little cleaner. Let's use the left hand to help today up on the right ear. Give it a little bit of a nudge. See if you can take it around a little bit more. Release the left hand back to the earth. Inhale. On your exhale, first reach out with your chin towards the left shoulder. And then maybe descend down. See if you can touch your chin to the shoulder point. Take the right hand today and roll it open. So the palm will go to the sky, the thumb will go back, and get a little bit of a traction on that nerve, little floss. Beautiful. Bring the hand back to neutral. Head will come up on the inhale, and exhale around it goes. Find the end range. Use the right hand, left ear, give it a little bit of a nudge. Right hand goes down, inhale, exhale, reach out first. And then try to descend the chin down to that acromial point, the tip of the shoulder. And spin that left hand back now. Thumb will roll to the back, the palm goes to the sky. Release the hand back to the earth, chin back up through center, inhaling, and exhale, release it down. Jugular notch between the two collarbones, all in the neck. Find that cervical flexion. Inhale on the exhale, trace your chin along the line of your right collarbone. Try to keep it as close to the collarbone as possible. Explore the end range. Inhale back through center, exhale to the left, chin on collarbone. Inhale back through center, reaffirm, sit bone press, fingertip press, Uddiyana Bandha, pull the lower ribs in, bring the heart nice and tall. Lift the crown of the head to the sky. Inhale. On your exhale, push your heart forward. There's a friendly hand behind your heart pushing forward. Lift the crown of the head. And start the movement from behind the heart and slowly start to arc back. Don't let the head drop, but find a new spot to share the movement. No dizziness or pain allowed. Go for the stretch from chin to collarbones. Inhale your head back up. Exhale. Beautiful, yogis. Take your legs out in front of you. Stretch them out. Let's do our rotation. Start with the toes together. Keep the heart nice and open. Inhale, and on the exhale, let the legs turn out. External rotation. It's all from the hips, right? Bring it back in. The toes will probably touch easily on most of you. Maybe take your feet, your heels apart a little bit more and find that internal spiral. Come back through it again. Roll them out. Look that right and left are doing approximately the same things and see if you can match them. Bring them back in. If it's easy to touch the toes, take the heels apart a little bit more. Explore that internal rotation. Maybe one or two more on your own. Looking at the excursion of the movement as well as right and left doing the same thing. Last time, maybe take the heels apart a little bit more and challenge that internal spiral. Beautiful. Okay, yogi, slide the legs back up. This time the opposite cross of your limbs. Take your arms up, cactus arms, widespread fingers. Open and close the hands. Shine them. Inhale, exhale, take the thumbs back and drop them back. External rotation in our shoulder socket, ball rolling in socket. Shine the palms forward and drop them down. Ball rolling in socket, internal rotation. Try to make it all that dissociated movement just in the shoulder. So don't take the shoulder blades along with it or the spine. Drop it down one more time. Beautiful. Inhale, up. Exhale, they come together, fly machine arms. Turn your palms to face you. Inhale, exhale, take them up. Press the sides of the hands and elbows together. We rise up. We still feel the roots as we rise. Come to your point where the elbows start to come apart and then pull them apart and drop down slowly through that thick fluid. Two more times. Take it around, maybe lots of cracks and snaps. That's all good. If it's painful for any reason to come up so far, just limit the distance you come up and take them apart. Elbows land. Turn your light bulbs up into your queen wave. Hallelujah arms. Queen wave. Light bulbs. Shake them out. Good. Fly your arms up. Take them up. We know this. Fingers out to the opposite ends of the mat. Take the shoulders up by the ears. That's upper trapezius. Drop that. Let's not use our upper traps. I'm going to challenge you today. Turn your hands so your thumbs go up. Inhale. And on the exhale, like you're squeezing a very dense material, start to bring your hands together. Once they touch, turn it and push them out. Exhale out. Inhale. Bring them together. Exhale, take them out. One more time. Inhale, bring them together. Squeeze it. Exhale, take it out. Grab your tennis balls. Flap your wings. Nice and tight, right? The shoulders holding the strength here. Take them forward. Creep them forward. Creep them back. And take them back behind you a little bit. Creep them forward. Take them out. Let's fly. Up and down, nice and easy, right? Real soft wings. A beautiful thermal. Let's take right over left for eagle arms. You guys know how to customize. Don't cross the arms maybe, or don't try to marry the fingers and palms. Feel what's right for you. Take the elbows, tricep flesh parallel to the floor. Inhale. Exhale, push the right elbow into the left and protract those shoulder blades. So you're sliding the blades on the rib cage. Inhale it back to center and exhale, pull it back, retract. See if you might be able to mobilize that thoracic spine. Inhale in the neutral on the exhale, right hand turn with the arms. Take them around to the right. Beautiful stretch, left side, posterior delt, and your rotator cuff and mobilizing the right shoulder. How about looking over the right shoulder now? Go ahead and look over, see what you can explore behind. Inhale it all back to center, and on the exhale, just the arms to the left. And then the head, turn the gaze. All the pieces getting warmed up. Inhale it back to center. On the exhale, just the elbows drop. You'll elevate the shoulder blades. They'll slide up. You'll stretch the lower traps and rhomboids. And then start to flex the spine. Left elbow might go to the bottom of the rib cage. Let the weight of your head go and feel that full flexion. Your spine. Maybe even touch your fingers to the floor today as we round out the spine. Inhale yourself back up. Exhale, pull the low ribs. Best part of the whole pose, take the elbows up. What opens is that upper back. See if you can feel that movement from behind the heart opening. Elbows keep going up and then add the head. Extend through the spine. Beautiful, yogis. Bring your arms back to neutral and release the arms down. Take them up, opposite. Customize your start position. Inhale, and on the exhale, take lefty into righty, draw them forward. Inhale back and exhale, pull them back. Inhale, center. Exhale, right with the arms. And then your gaze. Inhale back to center. Left with the arms. And then your gaze. Back to center. Inhale, exhale. Release the elbows down. Find the exploration first of just the blades. And then start to add the spine. Rounding. Let the head go. Maybe the fingers will touch the earth. Inhale back up. Exhale, elbows go up. Open the heart. Push the elbow points to the sky and then add the head. Extend. Beautiful. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release the arms. Let's do a side bend. Maybe a block right, block left, should you need it. Walk your right hand out to the side. Creep the spider out. Take the left hand, hold the pelvis down. Inhale, and on your exhale, start to drop the right elbow. As you drop the right elbow, the waistline lengthens and we get closer to the earth. Try not to let the left knee come up. Stay down with the pelvis. When the right hand and elbow are on the ground or a prop, lengthen your spine. See if you can find that, right? So not crunched in, but lengthened out. Left thumb into the armpit, lengthen out even more, and use that thumb to roll your heart to the sky. Inhale your hand up, and on the exhale, take it across. Look over at your fingers. And as your hand starts to come across, let the right ear release towards that right shoulder into your beautiful side bend. If you'll spend a moment here to push your left sit bone to the earth, you'll feel the yumminess and openness of that stretch. Inhale yourselves back up, yogi, and switch over to the other side. Use a block, whatever you might need to find your docking. Keep your sit bone down. Lengthen out of the waist. Thumb in the armpit, lengthen the rib cage, and roll the heart to the sky. Take the right hand up in the inhale, and on the exhale, take it across. Reach out, reach out, reach out. Look up at your fingers. And then let the left ear start to release towards the left shoulder. We find this beautiful side body opening. Inhale back up. Exhale. Let's move our blankets. Come onto all fours. Take your right foot back behind you. That wonderful feeling of the back of the leg opening after sitting like that. Crown of the head forward. Inhale. Bring your body weight forward. Come onto the tips of the right toes and flip over under the top of the foot for your plantar flexion of the ankle. As we roll back in a moment, think of the toes, the foot, the ankle, all moving, all the bones. Go ahead and take it back. All the articulation of those joints, the small joints of the feet, the ankle. Nice. Take the right knee forward. Do the same thing with the left. Envision what you're doing here. Think of your skeleton underneath your skin. What's it doing? Inhale the body weight forward onto the toes. Flip over onto the top of the foot. Find that plantar flexion. Inhale and exhale. Push it all the way back. Heel back. Crown forward. Back of the knee to the sky. Yeah. Let's sit in Virasana, knees together, see if you can sit back. You guys know how to customize this with blankets and blocks. Don't sit in discomfort. Put a prop in where you feel you might need the extra space. Put your hands under your thighs, pull the low ribs, and bring your heart very tall. Let your shoulders just naturally release down the back and feel how free the head has become. Take your hands back. Thumbs will go onto the sides of the feet or the little toes. Draw the elbows in so they're not pointing out to the side, but to the back of your mat. And lean back a bit. Bend your right elbow, look over your right shoulder, see if you can mobilize some extension, facet joints. Inhale back through center, exhale. Bend the left elbow, look over the left shoulder. Inhale back to center, lean back a little bit more. Inhale again. On your exhale, lift your buttocks off your heels, just a little bit to start. Let's strategize here. It's going to be more of an opening of the front of the pelvis than a big back arch. So see if you can figure that out. Imaginary hands on the fronts of the pelvis, lift the pelvis towards the hands, but not from your low back. Keep the low ribs in. So ideally, knees are staying together and we're feeling our quad stretch and our hip flexors. We're extending our hips so the flexors get stretched. Go ahead and release slowly down. Put the buttocks down. Sit bones might go outside the heels. Inhale yourself forward. Let's decelerate on the exhale, decelerating child to the earth. So feel your belly, chest on your thighs. Maybe your forehead reaches to the earth or to a prop. Pause for a moment there. Inhale back up, so pull the low ribs in. Find the segments to bring yourself up nice and easy. Take the shoulders up over the hips. Hands will come back. And let's rock back onto our feet. Full plantar flexion of those ankles. Go ahead and put the shins back down and then rock back one more time. Rock to the left a little bit and to the right a little bit. Back to center again. Put the shins down. Let's lean back a little bit more. Feel the wave from behind your heart. Push your heart to the sky and let your head release back for our modified camel. Again, no dizziness allowed. No pain in the spine. Otherwise, see if you can really open the heart. Pull the elbows towards each other. Beautiful. Inhale your head back to neutral. Exhale, come to sit. All fours, please. Take your knees back. Knees are underneath the hips and your hands probably forward of the shoulders a little bit. Let's start to open our spines even more. Curl your toes under. Inhale. On the exhale, start to push back with the hands a little bit. Spread the sit bones and start to arch your back. Just push back maybe a quarter of the distance, starting to open through the armpits. The head might release towards the shoulders. Inhale forward. Exhale, release the feet. Press the hands to the earth, feel the energy out of the earth, and then let your pelvis come forward. Stretch those hip flexors again. So there's some low back movement, but we're not in a tremendous low back arch. Nice, yogis. Inhale back up, curl the toes under, exhale, push back a little bit more. Still downward facing dog arms, right? So the elbows aren't dropped yet. The ears will release to the elbows now and the heart towards the ground as we start to peel that upper back. Open, nice. Inhale forward, release the feet on the exhale, press the hands to the earth again, find your stable platform, release through the pelvis, pull the low ribs in so you don't go too deep into the low back, and shine the heart forward. So we're sharing the movement and extension here a lot through thoracic spine, ribs up. Inhale, curl the toes under, exhale. Let's push back through our down dog arms. We were just there. And then release the elbows down, this time for sphinx arms. Pull the hands and elbows isometrically back towards your knees and feel how the spine opens even more. Inhale, release the feet. Exhale, find all that stability in your shoulders. Unfurl your cobra. Heart will shine forward, neck very free. Inhale, On your exhale, look over your right shoulder, see your heel back behind you. Inhale back through center, exhale, look left. Inhale back through center. We'll lower slowly now. Bend your elbows, keep them in nice and tight, and see if you can put your pelvis down. So we're moving into Cobra here as the pelvis releases. Inhale back up through scared cat. Take the knees very wide and push back. Wide child. Come through down dog arms, sphinx arms, forehead releases. No pinchiness in your hips here. If it's pinchy, back off. Otherwise, let's use this to lubricate our hips. Shift your pelvis to the right and shift it to the left. Lubricate those hip sockets. Come on back to neutral. Now we'll hula dance. Take the pelvis around clockwise. So the pelvis is moving on the fixed femur. See if you can feel that. Bring it back to neutral and go the opposite way now. So hula left and hula right. Beautiful. Back to neutral. Inhale yourself up. Exhale, release slowly. Unfurl that cobra. Hanging the cobra for a moment. Bend your elbows, yogis. Put your pelvis down. And be careful with this. Now move right into sphinx. Take the elbows forward. And we're ready for sphinx. Push the hands and elbows into the ground. Open the heart. Pull the hands back towards your hips. Beautiful. Release. Let's go ahead and come sit. We'll make our way down to the ground, do some ab work through our boat. Find your best start position, feet into the ground. Press them down, you'll feel some stability happen. Maybe start with your hands, or start with your hands in front and lean back. So in front meaning patellar tendons, not on your kneecaps, but just below. So like you're steering the ship here, right? Keep the heart nice and open. The idea is the heart doesn't cave in. So do what you have to do to preserve this open-heartedness and freedom in your neck. Next would be your heels on the ground and lean back a little bit more. Pull the belly in, pull the egg up, hold that stability, and then maybe shift the hands to behind the knees and lean back a bit more. So when we lean back, we don't cave in, but we lessen the hip flexion angle. Neck nice and clean. Take your right foot up, spread your toes. Take your left foot up, spread the toes. Maybe if you're at a wall, if this feels unstable, put your feet right up on the wall and you'll feel the stability happen. If you can take your hands off the backs of your legs without changing the position of the chest, go for it. Maybe straighten your legs and find your hamstrings. Lots of core belly work here. Maybe take your hands up, touch them together, and then touch the earth. Take them back up and back down. Hands behind the knees. Push your feet into the earth. Big open heart. One more time. Lean back. Find that pivot point where you can find your stability. The core working real hard here to hold in place. Feet will come up. Maybe onto a wall will be a good move. Hands out and legs out. Take your right leg down and bring it back up. Take your left leg down, bring it back up. One more time, right down, up, left down, up. Put your feet down on the earth. Reach out, waiting for dinner here. We'll lower to a count of 15. Inhale, exhale, your count. Down to 15. When you get to about 7 or 8, we know, don't drop over the ledge, but lower. Got to use your core. Or if you need to, put your elbows down and lower yourself to the earth. Beautiful, yogis. Grab your patellar tendons again. Never a great idea to push on the kneecaps. Grab the patellar tendons and draw your knees to your chest. Okay to roll your back off the floor, provided you don't have an active disc problem. Hang out for a moment here. And then roll the sacrum back down onto the earth. So the sacrum between the two pelvic bones,
presses into the earth. It's imprinting. Feel your low back in a beautiful arch now. Let's hold that stability as we move our hips. So hands on the knees, circle the hips. So it's not the end of the world if everything is moving, but I'm trying to get the separation of your hips from your pelvis. So if you keep your sacrum imprinted, you'll notice that it all goes to the hips. Do the opposite direction now, whichever way you were doing, just switch it to the opposite way. Bring them back to neutral. Let's decompress the back. Hands back onto the patellar tendons. Imprint your sacrum. Feel that. Low back arches, right? Inhale. Exhale. Push the knees up to the hands, but pull the hands down to the knees. The sacrum will imprint even more into the ground, and we decompress our whole lumbosacral spine, our low backs. Release that, and we'll do it one more time. Inhale. Exhale, push the knees up to the hands, pull the hands down to the knees, imprint the sacrum, and feel how yummy that is in your lumbar spine. Beautiful. Release that. Put your feet down on the earth, have your knees together and your feet apart, and let's go through our crazy legs renditions. Arms out to the side to begin. Inhale. On the exhale, let the right knee slide down the inside of the left shin as the legs go to the left. It's controlled, right? Inhale back up to center and exhale to the other side. They don't just drop open. Like I said, it's not the end of the world on the other pose or this one. Just not a great idea to just let it flop open. Plus, we strengthen our back muscles if you let them do this easy slide. Keep the legs moving. Let's add some arms, but first we'll stretch. So take the thumbs into the elbow creases and take the arms up over your head, and you'll frame your head with your elbows. If your arms don't quite touch the ground, maybe put a blanket underneath so you can support them. As the arms come up overhead like that, it's even more of a tug on that quadratus lumborum muscle and through our oblique muscles as the legs continue their windshield wiper action. We're going to keep our arms up overhead and we're going to do side bending with our spine. So keep the legs going. If the legs go to the left, slide your arms on the ground to the right. So we got a side bend right as the legs go left. Inhale everything back to center and switch. Let the legs go to the right and the arms will stay on the ground or your prop as they come to the left for side bending. Beautiful. Let's see if we can carve out a few more of those. Come on back to center. Let's do the rotation now with our T-spines. Take your arms up so your forearms are above your chin. Legs will go left, arms will go right. So now rather than side bending T-spine, we're rotating it. Doing all the things that the spine is supposed to do, our T-spine, right? Beautiful. Keep the arms and legs moving and add the head to it. You guys know the head follows the knees while the arms go opposite direction. Head and knees, arms opposite. You can feel it just unwinding and decongesting. Edge your eyeballs. Eyeballs follow elbows, head follows knees. Muscles in our eyes, definitely want to work the eyes as well. Everything gets worked in our yoga practice. Do a few more of these yogis back and forth. Feeling the ease and grace in the movements as we start to open up. Beautiful. Bring it back to neutral. Let's turn onto our left side. We'll do our open book chalk trace. I haven't done this one in a while. Keep your hips, knees, and ankles together, 90 degrees, palms touch, head on the ground or on a prop. Big inhale. Exhale, watch your right hand as it slides up your palm, your forearm, your bicep, and have it come to rest on your chest. Take your right elbow up to the sky. Feel that opening in your upper back and start to come over from the bottom of the rib cage on the right. Don't even think about your right shoulder. But let the ribs Right side of the cage, start to roll. You got it. If your right tricep touches the floor easily enough, beautiful. If not, put a prop under maybe. You guys know how we increase our rotations, right? Bend your left elbow. Fingertips to the sky. Inhale. On the exhale, as you push your left elbow down, imaginary string on your heart lifts your chest off the ground, and we find a bit more rotation. Maybe one more time. Inhale. Exhale, push the elbow down, lift the heart. Oh, yeah. And rotate. Maybe unfurl the arms here. Pause for a moment, reaching out, both hands. Inhale your right hand up. Grab the cloud off the sky, imprint it onto your left palm, and then slide the right hand through a bit more to protract that right shoulder blade. You're looking down at the ground. One full swoop will come back through it again. Big inhale, yogis. And exhale, work your way right through it. Heads on the ground, trace through, open your book. Yeah, feel that nice opening through the cage now and come to your open position. Take a breath or two here. Inhale the right hand up, cloud. Grab it, imprint it onto the left palm, slide it through, and right into chalk trace we go. So palm to palm again, inhale, exhale. Imaginary piece of chalk between thumb and index of right hand, have it on the ground. Watch your hand as it traces up overhead. Keep your hand in contact with the ground, and if it comes off the ground, that's your stop point. Otherwise, come around, find that full circumduction of your arm, and we're back in the same position we were just in with our open bucks. So yummy. We'll close it down one more time, and then we'll find that one breath to open it up. So big inhale. Exhale, trace it back up overhead or wherever you stopped. Come on back to your start position. Protract the blade, always get that in at the end. Palm to palm again on the inhale. And on the exhale, make it as smooth and sweet as possible coming up overhead. Finding that movement through your shoulders. Inhale it back around. Come back to your start position, and we'll roll on the other side using half open book. Let's try it. Inhale. Exhale, slide your right hand up your forearm, bicep onto your chest. We just did it. Use your deep core and abdominals here. See if you can roll your legs up. The right arm will go down, and you'll end up over on your right side. I'm just going to switch positions so I can keep my eye on you guys. You're on your right side. Hips, knees, and ankles 90 degrees, palm to palm, head on the ground or a prop. Inhale. On your exhale, see what this side feels like, right? Trace the hand up on the heart. Elbow comes up. We find that big opening. Bottom of the left side of the rib cage, start to roll. See where the resistance might be. Maybe you need a prop to start with. Put something underneath that left tricep or not. Remember, keep the knees together, but get more rotation in your T-spine by bending the right elbow. Inhale, and on the exhale, push the right elbow into the earth. Lift your heart and rotate. Lift your heart and rotate. Oh, yummy. And open your arms. Find your wingspan. Inhale the left hand up, grab the cloud off the sky, imprint it onto that right palm and slide it through the protract. Let's make one big movement here. Inhale, exhale, trace it through, find your opening, knees and ankles stay together, find that opening, feel how we can teach our bodies how to move. Pause in your open position for a moment. Inhale the left hand up. Cloud off the sky, imprint it onto the palm, slide it through. Inhale your hand back to the palm, and on the exhale, chalk trace it up. Fingertip, index and thumb holds the chalk on the ground. Maybe you'll pass through the top. Doesn't matter if your hand comes off the ground. That's where you stop. See if you can find your open position. Inhale, and on your exhale, come on back through it. Trace up over your head. This is such a good one to follow through with on your own. Protract it. One more time, yogis. Palm to palm on the inhale. On the exhale, up it goes. Chalk trace up overhead. Again, envision what's happening in your skeleton, or maybe not happening in your skeleton. Come to your open position. Inhale, and on your exhale, take it back overhead. Find that round the bend. Come back to start. Good. Let's go ahead and push back up. I'm going to open your hips up a little bit here, and then we're going to turn it over to Jill, and she's going to do some standing poses. I'm just crazy about the sitting pretty routine, so let's go into that. Start with your left foot on your right thigh. Many of you know this now. We keep adding pieces to it, though. You can have your foot out or in, whatever's better. Feels better for you. Take your fists to the ground, lift, and put your pelvis down. Remember, yogis, many of you have tightness in the internal rotation. So some of you are probably sitting like this with your right butt cheek up off the ground. If that's the case, slide something underneath the left side to balance yourself off. Hands back behind you. Heart stays forward. Inhale. Exhale, push the right hip forward. Envision that skeleton again. So the pelvis, right, and the hip socket finding that movement. Release it back down. And remember, on the way down, we're internally rotating the right hip and the pelvis is dropping into place. So you can use your right hand to encourage that internal spiral. Do it again. Push back up. Stretch of iliacus and psoas. On the way down, maybe the middle finger right hand gets squashed by the sit bone and you find your pelvic position. You can do it one more time, maybe just mind's eye this time. Put your sit bone down. Good, let's do a little twist. Take your right hand onto your left knee, your left hand behind you, big open heart. Inhale, keep your gaze forward, just turn your rib cage. So something's happening behind you, but you're not in such a rush to look back there to see what it is. Turn the spine elegantly, and then kind of an afterthought, go ahead and look over and see what might be happening back there. Bring your head back around to center, low hovering arms, switch. Left hand, right knee, right hand behind, big open heart. Inhale, exhale, turn the rib cage. Keep the gaze forward. And then afterthought, look over the right shoulder, see what's up. Inhale back to center. Okay, we're going to take our right leg over our left leg now. You got a few choices. You can use your hands to help. You can have your hands behind you and do it, or maybe try it with your thumbs in your armpits. Just try to get that leg to cross over. I'll meet you here. Fists to the ground, lift up, put your buns down. Big toe knuckle, right foot on the earth, hand on your knee, big open heart. Such a great sequence. Take your arms up, inhale. On your exhale, we just did it, except our legs were in a different position. Go ahead and turn the rib cage, and then look over, little finger left hand, open twist, right? Inhale back to center. Exhale opposite, close twist. Turn the cage first, then turn the gaze. Sweep it right through, inhale to center, exhale right around. Look at what we've done. So much more rotation. Release the arms now, and don't alligator wrestle it, but a little bit of extra added push and pull with the arms, you'll find your rotation. Inhale back through center, exhale around to the right. Release the arms, use them again as a little bit of extra added bonus, beauteous. Bring it back to center. Thumbs in the armpits, hands behind, whatever's good for you. Switch your legs back to where we just started.
This time, have your right foot toes out. Okay. Left leg's going to come up now. Take your left leg up, articulate that joint. Put the thigh back down. Left leg comes up, thigh goes down. It's all in your hip, right? We're not moving our torsos or our spines, it's all in the hip. Let's do the same on the right now. Take the right up and down. Beautiful. So adding some oil to the chassis. Beautiful. Let's do our mind sweep now. Take your hands back on blocks, fingertips, or palms, big open heart. Lean back a bit. Inhale. And on the exhale, take that right leg out. Let's see the sole of your foot come all the way around, sweep through, and touch your right knee to your left knee. See if you can bring it back now to where you found it without the use of your hands. Use your hands if you need to. We'll do 3 of those. Lean back, straighten out the leg, find the length of your hammies and strength of your quads, sweep through, bring it back, touch down. Last time, sweep through and around. Beautiful. Let's lay our beasties down now. Take your hands to the bottom of your rib cage. Turn the ribs and look to your left. Take your arms down on the ground. They're staggered sphinx arms. Left one is forward. The right one, if you can, the right elbow touches the left knee. Press those hands and elbows into the ground and find first the length to your spine. Then push the right elbow into that left knee and find a little rotation and side bend. Yeah. Take the right arm forward now so they're matched sphinx arms. Press into the earth and lengthen out. What I really want you to be thinking about here is when we lay it on down, it's not from fetalizing and coming into flexion, but it's lengthening out. If you're finding your underneath hip is a little pinchy, take that left knee forward and that should release some of the pinch. Go ahead and lay it down now, yogis, onto a block, onto a bolster, maybe just onto your forearms. The heart is moving towards the ground. As the elbows come apart, we release down. Straighten your right leg out now. It's Tadasana all the way to the bottom of the mat, and then take it back behind you to open up the front of your hip flexors. Pause here for a moment. Gather your leg back in. Pull yourself back up to sitting pretty position. And let's do our modified gait. Take your hand out to the side, left hand. Put your elbow down. Thumb into the armpit. Lengthen out. Feels so good. Roll your heart up. Similar to what we did at the start of practice, right? Inhale your right arm up. And on the exhale, take it across. We find this beautiful length. Stable left hand and elbow, not caving in, but whoa, finding that long body. We'll do our Saramante car dealer arms to switch to the other side. Use your core to bring yourself up. Inhale up. Saramante arms to the opposite side. So your right elbow can be on your hip, on your leg, maybe on the ground or a prop. Try not to have your heart forward, but open and reach out. Switch sides again. Back you go. Releasing into it, landing with authority, and last time, up you go, opposite side. So yummy, yogis. Come on back to center. We best do the other side. You can switch your legs around without any help or as much help as you need. See if you can find the opposite side, right foot, left thigh. Your choice to start with foot straight out or back behind you. Use your props accordingly. If your left hip is way rotated or isn't rotating in, put it underneath the right butt cheek. Hands back behind you. Inhale, and on your exhale, push your left hip forward. Feel that softness. Release down, maybe first round, L hand, internally spiraling. Push back up again. Second round, maybe middle finger gets squashed. Third round, up you go. Maybe just mind's eye, envisioning what's happening with them bones. Find yourself back into place. Let's do a little twist action, right? Left hand, right thigh, right hand behind, big open heart. Inhale, and on your exhale, twist the rib cage. Afterthought is the head as it rolls around to see what's up. Inhale back to center, low hovering arms, right hand, left knee, left hand behind, open heart. Inhale, exhale, twist the cage. Afterthought, head looks over. Inhale back to center. Find that. Left leg's going to cross over right. Use whatever you need to help, or maybe just bring the leg over if you've mastered that. It's all core and hip flexibility. Big toe knuckle, left foot's on the ground, hands on the knee, big open heart. Fly them up. Arms come up. Inhale, exhale. Twist to the right, just the cage. Look over, little finger, right hand. Inhale back to center, just twist the cage to the left. Look over. Inhale back to center, twist right again. Release the arms, use them to add a little extra yumminess. Inhale back to center, exhale left. Release, open. Inhale back to center. Return lefty where we found it. Right foot, front of left thigh. Probably better to have your left foot toes turned out. Hands come back behind you. Right leg will come up first. 3 times. Shoot some oil into that hip socket. Beautiful. Same thing with the left now. Open it. Notice here, not really leaning back, but trying to have it all from that hip joint. Let's do our mind sweep. Lean back. Pull the belly in. Find that strength in your core and hips. Sweep it around. Touch knee to knee. Back into home position. Sitting pretty. Second time. Sweep it. And around. And sweep it. And around. So sweet. All right, let's lay our beast down. Rib cage turns. Elbows release for your staggered sphinx arms. Press hands and elbows into the earth and lengthen. Push the left elbow into the right knee, a little side bend and rotation. Take the left arm forward. Sphinx arms, hands and elbows press. We find a really long body so that when we put ourselves down, it's long, normal, or natural curves to our spine. Straighten your left leg now. Find that very long Tadasana leg. And creep the left leg back behind you. So open now in our hip flexors. Gather your limbs back in. Come on back up. Tall sit position, and we slide right into modified gait. Right elbow down. Thumb in the armpit, lengthen. Inhale the arm up. Exhale, take it across. Reach out. Seramonte, here we come. Switch to the other side. Find a place for your elbow. Don't cave the heart in, but open it. Switch it back over, other side. And back over we go. All right. It is truly my pleasure to hand this over now to Jill. If you want to pin yourself, girl, and get us through our standing poses, it's all you.
Sounds good. I just spotlighted my video. I'm also going to add a little music to set the mood. It is so lovely to be here with all of you. And so I assume most of you have come up to standing at this point. Your chance if you haven't yet. And I just thought this would be a nice way to, this time of year, we want to hibernate, we want to curl in and lie down a lot. So I was inspired to have a stand up, build a little warmth. So I'm excited to share a few things with all of you. We'll start with our foundation, of course. So let your feet land about hip width distance underneath you. And I'd love to share this little technique called tapping. So if you can make a little cup shape with your left hand and float your right arm out to the right, start behind near that right shoulder blade there. And just with light taps with that cupped left hand, work your way down the top of the arm. And then as you come up along the inside of the arm, do that a few times. You get to determine the pressure of the taps. And of course, keep that breath alive. It's there to help you. We'll transition over to the other side with just light little fingertip taps along the collarbones there. And then left arm out to the left, start behind near that shoulder blade, tap your way down and up. This is when I miss our collective sound effects in the studio. I hope you can picture and feel how great this is for circulation, a reset for the lymphatic system. Let's come back to those collarbone taps with the fingertips. Go down the sternum there. Your thymus gland is behind there. A very important gland connected to our immune response. Keep us strong and healthy. Our Tarzan moment for sure. And then make those cups again. Go along the bottom of the rib cage. Stomach, liver, work your way down, intestines, go all the way down to the low belly. Swing around the back to get the back of the rib cage, kidneys, adrenals back there, get into the low back. Who doesn't love a little booty massage? And then to give you a side view, work your way down the backs of the legs. So we're coming into a gentle forward fold, and bend the knees as much as you need to keep yourself safe, and then tap your way up the front of the legs. Do that a few times. All right, we'll come up to standing. And as my hair taps my mic here, your chance to check in. If you feel safe, maybe you close the eyes and just observe the effects. Maybe there's a little buzz going on. Invigorating. Okay. Next, I'll share with you a little pattern. This comes from the Vinny yoga tradition. So feet might land a little bit wider than hip width distance, and Harvey and I rarely cue you to do this, but you can turn the toes out slightly if you'd like. That can create a little more stability in a moment. Let's just get the hang of the arms here first. So arms at your sides, palms point back towards that wall behind you. Inhale, float the arms up. And as you exhale, cactus arms, a familiar shape, yeah? Inhale, arms reach back up. I know I'm chopping myself off at the top here. It's all good. Exhale, arms down. So pause, and I encourage you to stare at a spot, whether that's on the floor or the wall in front of you. That drishti, that steady gaze, can help with the balancing we're about to do. On your next inhale, arms float up and heels hover away. Keep that heel hover going on. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, arms float back up. And exhale, arms down, heels down. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. And the cycle starts over. Inhale, arms up, heels up. It's okay if you're tiptoeing around. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, arms down, heels down. So I'll quiet down so you can have your own experience here. A couple more rounds on your own. If it becomes too much with the heel hover, no problem. Keep both feet grounded, just focus on the arms. Can you feel how great this is for foot and ankle stability? once you finish that last round, give yourself a little shake out. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to use 2 blocks here. Some of you might not even need them, but I'll show you how you can use them if you happen to have them. If you're blockless, but you do want some sort of support, think of what you might find around the house, right? You can stack a couple of books, you can find some pillows, use your pets, right? So we'll start in a forward fold. So I'm sure you all know the cues here, but I'll just remind you of a few of them. Feet hip width distance, no toes turning out this time, so feet parallel with each other. I'll cue you to have the hands on the thighs here. So let's grow our tower nice and tall. Press down through the feet, rise up through the head. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, let that pelvis tip forward. Let the hands paint down the legs. You get to bend the knees as much as you need to. The only people that need to be careful are those that have hamstring injuries. No bending the knees if so. And so hands come down to props or the ground. Head and neck might release here as we take a couple of breaths. Maybe a big, beautiful sigh. Okay, and from here, we'll step the right foot back behind us. So a nice long stride. Yep. You can stay down low, or you can find that stability to reach the arms up. Whatever you're doing, take a nice big inhale. And exhale, hop back to your forward fold. We'll take an inhale in our fold here. And exhale, left foot back. Nice long stride again, staying down low or reaching up to your high lunge. Either way, inhale. And exhale, forward fold. So a little lunge flow for us today. Inhale in your fold, yogis. And then exhale, right foot back, staying down low or reaching up. Either way, inhale. And exhale, forward fold. You do not have to stay with my pacing. Find your own rhythm. Let it turn into a little dance, yeah? I'll show you another variation. If your body doesn't want to come all the way down to a fold today, hands can be on thighs. And you still step it back and reach it up. And then back to hands on thighs. It's just a little half fold. Who doesn't have something going on with their bodies? We all need to find ways to adapt. So another round or two on your own here. We're just playing, right? I love that quote. It's not about being good at something. It's about being good to yourself. So let's let go of that perfection stuff. Finish up this round, stepping that left foot back just so we're even on both sides. And let's meet up in that forward fold. Take a couple of breaths there. You might already notice a shift, more warmth. Bend the knees, hands on thighs, nice long spine as you bring yourself back up. Yeah. Okay, so I'll come into a side view again in just a moment. Another little pattern to play with here, challenging our balance. And so join me here. You might want to bring the feet a little bit closer together, but same idea here, finding a spot to stare at, that steady gaze. All right, see if you can find that stability to draw the right knee in towards you. And then do a little toe tap back behind you as arms reach up. Knee comes back in, And then can you gracefully shift back into your chair pose? Booty goes way back behind you so knees stay stacked over ankles. And then we cruise over to the other side. Left knee in. Little toe tap back. Arms reach up. Knee comes back in. And chair pose. Play with those arm variations. Sometimes I like hands at the heart. Knee in. Toes tap. Ooh, anybody still out of breath from our lunge flow? Just me. Knee back in. And chair. I'm not going to cue you on the breath because really there's no wrong way here. Let your body decide when it wants to inhale and exhale. How's your core doing? Keep a little engagement there. That'll help with the balance. I'm going to show you, for those of you that want an added challenge, maybe you get rid of the toe tap this round and let that foot hover. Basically turns into a warrior 3 variation. Back to drawing that knee in and chair. Try and keep the weight in the heel when you're doing your chair. That'll help with the sitting back. Maybe the foot hovers, maybe not. But let's let go of the judging, the self-criticizing that we love to do here. And just explore. One more round. Finishing up with that left leg floating in and out in that final chair. We having fun? Woo! All right. Come back to standing. Just checking in again. What are we feeling now? Okay, let's play with this horse variation. Join me. Nice wide stance between the legs here in your standing straddle. And this is where we can break the rules again, turning the feet out at about 45 degrees. So we'll do a little test run before we officially get into this. As you bend the knees and bring yourself down, look down at your feet. Hopefully your knees are tracking over your feet and toes. And if not, adjust the feet so that they are. Just a way to protect our joints a little bit more. We'll have the hands on the pelvis to start here. Can you find those pieces? Pulling up the egg, corseting the belly in towards the spine. This isn't a squat, yogis. We're not bringing our butts way back behind us. We're going to keep the pelvis stacked right under the shoulders. Here we go. Inhale. On your exhale, how slow can you lower down into your horse? Feel the power of those legs. Inhale, how slow can you come back up? Exhale, lowering down again, nice and easy. You get to decide how far down. And then inhale, coming back up. Let's add some arms. Reach the arms up. Exhale, as you lower down, float the arms over to the right. Let's do a little bow and arrow action. Pull it back. Let it go. Sound effects encouraged. Inhale, reach it up. And then exhale, over to the other side. Arms reach over to the left. Pull it back, let it go. Inhale, arms up. So let's do one more round. Reaching right and left. So great for quad, hamstring strength, glute strength, and of course, core. Yes. Reaching back up. Arms release down. Let's gift ourselves a straddle fold. Feet come in so that they're parallel with each other. Another way to look at that, the pinky edges, the outer edges of your feet are parallel with those short ends of your mat. Hands way down low on the thighs, not the pelvis, not the waistline, thighs. So inhale, find that length first. Exhale, use the hands to help spiral the thighs and hips in. Pelvis tips forward, and then the spine just comes along for the ride. Straddle fold. Hands release down to something, props or the floor. Those legs have got you, yogis, so maybe you can let that whole upper body release and unload. Let the head and neck go. A big sigh again, or a lip flutter. Let's add a little movement here. So bending the right leg as you shift over to the right. Left foot might flex. Come back to center. Shift over to the left. Right foot might flex, so you can feel that release along the whole inside line, that medial line of the leg. A few more sways on your own. Once you're back at center, provided it's not too unstable for you and your body, you might grab opposite elbows here. Just kind of hang out, dangle, and it adds a little more unloading, decompression for the spine. Sometimes a little sway side to side here can feel really good. Hands down to the ground if they're not already. Heel toe, those feet back in till they're about hip width distance. You know how to take care of yourself as we slowly come up here. Hands on thighs or thumbs and hip creases, long spine, coming back up. So as we start to close this standing sequence here, I'll share with you what's called a little grounding massage. So similar areas we'll be exploring to the tapping, but to complement the invigorating sensation of the tapping is this soothing, this grounding effect we'll create. So same start with that left hand, and then from shoulder to wrist, give yourself gentle little pets here. And notice that we're staying with this downward movement. So we're not sweeping back up, just shoulder down to wrist. Nice, easy, peaceful breaths. And then switch over to the other side. Shoulder to wrist. Of that left arm, I'm mirroring all of you. We tend to focus on the doing part of things, right? Okay, my hand is moving from shoulder to wrist. See if you can switch it so that you're paying more attention to the receiving. How does the arm that's being stroked feel? Next, stacked hands over the heart. And then we'll go from heart through center, almost all the way down to the pubic bone there. Same downward motion, right through the midline there. Heart to pelvis. And again, if you feel safe, I invite you to close your eyes. Maybe you just keep a soft gaze down at the floor in front of you. It's almost like you're saying, there, nervous system. Everything's good. Okay, let's give the legs some love. I'll give you a side view again. And you get to decide here, either painting down the backs of the legs, from hips to ankles, or front of the legs, or alternating. Up to you. I think I'm going to stick to front today. Just a couple more here. We'll meet back up and standing. Checking back in. I can keep going with you for hours, but it is my turn to pass it, hand it back over to Harvey. Thank you all so much. I'll be with you through the rest of class here. Take it away, Harvster.
Hey, Jill. Thank you. Oh my goodness. So great. So my dream came true to invite you here today, and I know that we will collaborate more in the future. You guys will be seeing a lot more of the two of us together. Okay, let's go ahead and meet on the floor. On your backs. Draw your knees to your chest. Take them up. Take your right leg over your left. Have your foot behind your calf, perhaps. Let's use the right leg to stretch the left side of the body. Use the legs to draw the energies to the right. Feel the whole left side open. Take your left hand on the outside of the right thigh. Inhale, and on your exhale, roll over onto your right side. Head on the ground or prop. Right hand on the heart, take the elbow up. Inhale, and on the exhale, roll through your rib cage. See if you can dock your elbow onto the ground. Maybe open your arms. Find that unfurl. Beautiful. Inhale the right hand up, grab the cloud off the sky, imprint it onto your left hand, and slide it through. Inhale, on the exhale, roll back through, onto your back, uncross your legs, cross them out the opposite way, maybe the foot behind the calf. Heels on the ground, toes up. Use the left leg to stretch the right side first. Draw the limbs over to the left. Inhale the legs back. Center, right hand outside, left, and roll over onto your side. Left knee on the ground, head on the ground or a prop, hand on the heart, lift the elbow. Find that graceful, elegant movement. Roll on to the rib cage. Unfurl the arms. Find that rest position. Inhale the left hand up. Grab the cloud off the sky. Imprint it onto your palm. Go ahead and roll back onto your back. Uncross your legs. Take the legs out real long on the floor. And take your arms up over your head. Reach to the top of your mat. How open, how free. Feel what we've done to our bodies and our minds. Some beautiful attention to our energy system and our nervous system. Shifting our focus right into our breath and into our calmness. Non-striving. You are the best you are right now. Just relaxing into our practice. Take your arms back to your sides. Grab your mat with your fists. Inhale, and on your exhale, push your hands towards your feet. Your body will slink up the mat an inch or two into your Shavasana. Maybe bring your shoulder blades underneath you. If you've got something to cover your eyes with, cover your eyes or close them.
Block out visuals, cut down distractions, go within. Touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. Still, calming point. Let the tongue release to the bottom of the mouth. The lips will part slightly. No tongue and no teeth, no gripping, no grinding. That soft mouth. All that softness is relayed through the rest of the system as you start to release into Shavasana. Lucid sleep, productive rest, our reboot. Go ahead and let yourselves float out on your magic carpets. Take a little tour of your special place, land, and enjoy the moment. Who would have ever thought a few months ago this would be our world? Scary. It's frightening. We have such amazing tools with our practice, our yoga practice, and our community to quell so much of that fear. Like-minded people sticking together, feeding off of each other's sweetness and energies. Feel the marble on the back of your skull, the center of the skull, and let your head rock slowly side to side. Start to wake the system. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to move the limbs, maybe slide your heels towards your buttocks. Glue the knees and ankles together and roll onto your right side away from your heart. Sometimes we notice those wonderful thoughts running through our head after practice and capturing our breath again, thoughts of generosity, of kindness, of altruism and seva, our selfless service. Today, thoughts of friendship and empathy. We always remember Loka Samasta, Sukhinos Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. I think we're all doing that. So sweet, yogis. Take a beautiful inhale, and on your exhale, roll yourself back up to seated place. Find your grounding, maybe fingertips to the earth. Envision yourself, that tiny grain of sand sitting on this blue-green planet. So small, and yet so important to the whole. Draw the energy up from the earth into your heart center. Thumbs will press to the heart will rise. We pause here, reminding ourselves to be so grateful for all we have. Inhale. On your exhale, let your hands float forward. Fingertips touch, fingernails touch, hands open like a lotus. Bring the sweetness from each one of us into your heart centers. Backs of the hands roll, thumbs to heart. Take your thumbs to your third eye. Still contemplation point, all-seeing eye. ESPI. It's a clarity spot. Let's bow to this magnificent practice. Namaste. Yay. Thank you, beautiful Jill, for enriching our practice today. I want you to hang out and be part of the Brady Bunch so people can say hi to you. Reminding you Thursday, Thanksgiving. Let's practice together and keep this sweetness alive. Thanks so much, guys.